Hey everyone, my name's Michael and I'm back at theyoungfolks.com, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about movies that were released in 2014 that did not live up to their potential. Now these are those movies that you heard were being made and you saw the names of the talent involved and you thought, hey, this is going to be either a riotous comedy, a kick-ass action movie that has an actual story involved to it. I'm looking at you. A lot of movies. Or a heart-wrenching drama. And so yes, that's what you're about to get. This is a list of top 5 movies released in 2014 so far that just didn't live up to how awesome that they could have been. They're a little bit of a letdown. Now, as a disclaimer, this is my list of movies that I personally thought didn't live up to what they could have been. And if you love these movies, go ahead and love them. Everyone's got a right to an opinion. I'm just going to share my opinion with you guys. Here we go. First on the list, we have A Million Ways to Die in the West by Seth MacFarlane. I don't know if you guys saw Ted or this little comedy called Family Guy that's one of the highest rated shows on Fox on Sunday nights. And the talent behind both of those projects is Seth MacFarlane. He's the voice of Stewie Griffin, he's the voice of the teddy bear in Ted, and he's the creator of those two projects. And so you thought, hey, this guy, he's a comedian. He knows how to write comedy. So when I saw A Million Ways to Die in the West was being released by him, and I saw the talent involved, there was Charlize Theron, Liam Neeson, Neil Patrick Harris, Amanda Seyfried, Sarah Silverman, and Giovanni Ribisi. I thought, hey, this is going to be the comedy of the summer. This is going to be an amazing movie. But then I saw it. What I feel like went wrong here was that there just wasn't enough comedy in it. Yeah, it had parts that I laughed at, it had one-liners that made me really crack up, but other than that, there was just a lot of story that just wasn't interesting. Like, I didn't go to see it to see, like, a western, I went to see a comedy. And, like, Amanda Seyfried, she didn't even have a joke in the entire movie. Liam Neeson, he was an actual bad guy, like, he wasn't a comedy bad guy, he was truly a villain, and it felt kind of awkward, like, the movie didn't know if it wanted to be a comedy or be a serious film and a comedy at the same time. And it was just a little bit of a letdown, you know? I felt like with Seth MacFarlane front and center, creating a new movie, his next project after Ted, I was psyched, but it didn't deliver what I thought it would. And there's one scene towards the end of the movie, I saw this movie with a bunch of people, and the specific scene was obviously supposed to make you crack up, but there were a couple people who I was with were laughing at it, and there were a couple people who were just like uncomfortable watching the scene, and it was like a minute long, and so you can't but feel like it's a sort of miss. So that was my first pick for a movie that did not live up to its potential in 2014. Number 2, we have Vampire Academy. Why is this on the list, you ask? Well, because I make it a job of mine to watch all of the book-to-movie adaptations that are released there, and I had seen that this had horrid reviews, and I thought, hey, critics are just really tough on YA book-to-movie adaptations. It's not that bad. I should go back and slap past Michael. The thing about this movie was that it had the director to Mean Girls behind it, and that's like a cult classic that did great in the movies, and it's everyone's favorite movie now. People quote the lines all the time. Guys watch it. So you thought, hey, Mean Girls with vampires. That's gonna be a good combination. This could be a hit. This could break the curse of YA movies doing poorly. But this didn't end up being the movie to do so. The acting was good. In my opinion, it delivered on the acting front. Where it didn't deliver was literally all of the other places in the movie. It was so botched together. It felt like it was edited by someone who was really inexperienced. It explained the world pretty well in the beginning, but the story just jumped from one place to another and back, and then took 3 steps forward, and I didn't even know what was happening at one point. I don't know, it just felt like they didn't put enough time into making this movie, you know what I mean? And it's sad because if they had, it could have been a good movie. It could have been Mean Girls with vampires. But instead it was just a really not great vampire flick. Number 3, I've got Transcendence, which is directed by Wally Feister. I'm sorry if I pronounced that last name wrong. And starring Johnny Depp. And the reason Wally Feister and his movie ends up on this list is obviously Johnny Depp, but also because Wally Feister is Christopher Nolan's cinematographer for many of his recent movies, such as Inception and The Dark Knight, and he even won an Oscar for Inception cinematography. So Obviously, this movie was going to have amazing visuals. And hopefully we were thinking it would have amazing more than just visuals. But it only had amazing visuals. This movie, I can't even begin to explain the story because I wouldn't know where to start. It had a lot of ideas in it, but the ideas got all meshed together. You wanted just a nice piece of chicken for this movie, but there were just so many ideas meshed together that you got a chicken salad, and it was a messy chicken salad, and you didn't know how to eat it with bread or with a fork, or I don't know what I'm doing with this comparison. But yeah, this movie, it had great visuals. It had so much promise with that Oscar-winning name behind the camera. But Wally Feister, maybe his next job as director will be better. But this one was just really twisted, and I literally, I don't even know how to explain this movie. It was confusing. It wasn't as good as it could have possibly been, considering the level of talent involved. Number 4, we have Tammy. I might be the only one who thought this movie was going to be amazing because Melissa McCarthy and her husband were behind it. And for years, Melissa McCarthy was a bright spot on a show called Gilmore Girls. And then she hit the ground running when she hit Bridesmaids. She's been laugh out loud, poop yourself.
Laugh out loud. Poop yourself.
She's been so funny in The Heat, Identity Thief, and now Tammy was coming out, and we thought, she's got the reins. She's writing this with her husband, he's directing. She's got her chance to show everyone what she's capable of. This could be hilarious. She had a line of stars just pop up in that movie to be in Melissa McCarthy's movie because they all had so much faith in her. Melissa McCarthy was nominated for an Oscar for a comedy in Bridesmaids. That doesn't happen a lot. Getting nominated for an Oscar for a comedy movie in acting is about as rare as finding a pearl in a piece of calamari from that sketchy shop on the corner that gave you a little bit of stomach pain after you ate there. It's not often. And so, went into this movie thinking, yeah, Melissa McCarthy, ignore the reviews, they've been tough on her since Bridesmaids. She wrote this, she gave it her all, but it just didn't have a story. It had its funny moments. I was cackling. That's such a weird word for laughing. I was laughing a little bit throughout the movie. All their little jokes in there that I thought were funny. But it never had that one just deep-hearted, that's absolutely hilarious laugh. It didn't even have one of those. You can have more than one of those in a movie. It felt like there wasn't any story until the end. It sort of tried to have some semblance of a story. And it had Nat Faxon and Toni Collette in the movie, and Nat Faxon is a very talented comedian, and Toni Collette could stretch her comedy legs in this, but they didn't have a chance to be funny. They didn't have anything funny to do, so I thought that was weird. I just thought this movie was underdeveloped. It could have baked a little longer before being released. God, what's with me and my food analogies? And finally, at number 5, I am going to add Sabotage to this list, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not saying I'm an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. He was before my time, in a way, but I've still seen his movies. I still know what he's capable of. This movie could have been that movie that put him back on track. He's been having a hard time along with Sylvester Stallone. Outside of the Expendables movies, they can't really find success, stateside at least. Worldwide, they're doing fine, but they can't really get that audience that they used to muster up. And this was supposed to be a whodunit. Someone on his team betrayed everyone else and was slowly killing everybody off, and that's always a really interesting storyline to watch. There's so many movies that have done that successfully, and so I thought, hey, maybe the Schwarzenegger's back. Maybe he's here to stay. He's proven it to us. He's not past his prime. But this movie just turned into a bloody mess. I was watching it with my grandma. I watch movies at weird times. It was rainy Sunday afternoon, and my grandma was over, and she likes action movies because she doesn't speak English very well or understand English very well, so she just likes seeing stuff blown up and people get shot and that kind of stuff. I'm realizing how weird this is as I talk about it. I put Sabotage in for the both of us, and at one point it was hard to see a lot of the movie. That was her complaint. She fell asleep at one point because she couldn't see what happening. And then when stuff was happening, it was just blood, just killing people without having a reason to kill people. And you always have to have a reason to kill people in a movie for us to be invested in that movie. In my opinion, it was just a bloody mess. I don't know. I was hoping for it to be intriguing, but I wasn't intrigued by the plotline at all. So, alright, that is my pick for 5 movie releases in 2014 that did not live up to their potential. You guys, I hope you like this video. I hope you follow TYF Official on YouTube. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm Michael signing off. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.